welcome back to another episode of Mr. Analyst. Of course, I'm Leighton Levy, your host. Remember to subscribe, like, and share our content. But before I begin today's episode, let me just point out one thing. This is the third cricket video I'm doing, and I know a lot of people are accustomed to me talking about track and field. But at the very top, the very start of this channel, I said that it would not be exclusively track and field. It's been a little bit of cricket, it'll be a little bit of cricket, a little bit of basketball, whatever sport is relevant at this particular juncture in time. So I'm trying to stay within the pulse of what is happening in the world of sport. That said, what you will have noticed is that the West Indies Cricket West Indies recently called an emergency summit. People like Brian Lara, Clive Lloyd, Viv Richards, and of course members of the board and the current coach Darren Sammy, to discuss the state of West Indies cricket, what solutions they can find to turning around the fortunes of Cricket West Indies, and the team be successful once more, at least competitive. And this comes on the back of a very disastrous series against Australia, where in the final test at Sabina Park, in the day-night test, the West Indies were bowled out for 27, the second lowest test score in history. That was followed by a whitewash 5-0 against Australia in the T20 series, and losing the T20 series 2-1 to Pakistan. So today, they had a press briefing to kind of bring the public up to speed what they're planning to do to transform the fortunes of the West Indies. I managed to get a question in, and this is what the question was. Now, Miles Bascom, the director of cricket at Cricket West Indies, responded to the question.
This one is from Leighton Levy from Jamaica. Why is it that we have not implemented an integrated grassroots program with an associated matriculation system that sees the best players selected at the respective regional teams right up to the test level? I think this will be for DOC.
I think grassroots cricket, especially since we've lost the kiddie cricket program, takes different forms in different territories. So it's difficult to have one program that operates the same way across all of the territories.
And that was the response the start of the response that you would have heard. And of course, it's an important admission. It tells us that there is no unified framework for grassroots cricket in the West Indies. For every territory is essentially just doing their own thing. And while there are cultural and logistical differences between the islands, the absence of a standardized system means that talent development is falling flat on its face. Put it that way, because the entry points, coaching standards, and competition aren't consistent across the region. Here is more of what Bascom was saying today.
And the age at which these players come out of grassroots cricket, there is no structured program at the CWI level. So the way it used to work is that you would play kiddie cricket, and then you would play primary school cricket, and you go into early secondary school.
This is where the alarm bell should be ringing. If there is no structured program at the regional level, it means Cricket West Indies is relying on territories to do the heavy lifting. But if the territories don't have the resources or the systems in place, the talent pool automatically suffers. It's like expecting a world-class harvest when you haven't standardized the planning, watering, and the soil preparation. So let's hear some more what Miles Bascom said today.
In some cases, there were under 15 tournaments. So the secondary school tournaments would be two-part, where you have a under 15 level tournament, and then players from that would matriculate into a national under 15 team, having local scouts looking at secondary school cricket and drawing out a pool of players who would vie for an opportunity to play for under 15 team. And then, your under 15 team will come to a regional tournament. And similarly, the senior secondary school players would be called in a pool that would play that would vie for a spot in the under-19 teams, and then you come to an under-19 tournament.
This is nostalgia for a system that no longer exists. at least in his current strength. I mean, this is describing a clear tiered pathway, but speaking in the past tense. And there's a problem without the layers functioning properly. There's no conveyor belt delivering talent upwards. Cricket has evolved globally, where other countries are using advanced systems, data tracking, year-round coaching, and performance monitoring. We're still talking about what used to be. Here's some more of what Miles Malcolm was saying today.
So that system, as Director Lewis just said, has broken down somewhat in that, a lot of schools now don't play either primary or secondary school cricket, or the level of the primary and secondary school cricket have deteriorated to a point that you don't have the same sort of quality of cricketers coming through.
This is the heart of the crisis. If schools aren't playing cricket or the quality of the cricket is poor, the base of the pyramid collapses. Without mass participation, you can't find exceptional talent, and without quality coaching and competition, the raw talent doesn't get the help it needs to get to that level where it becomes essential to West Indies' success. India, Pakistan, Australia, England, even New Zealand are doing it better than we have. It's not about the lack of resources in many instances, it's how we use those resources. And of course, the school's cricket system is where we need to take the talent seriously from an early age. So, more from Miles Bascom.
So that is something, again, that was discussed extensively over the 2 days. We have spoken about our ability to actually track players from those levels, and we have committed to finding some sort of a program, or building it if necessary, to start to track players from those very early programs, grassroots programs, primary school programs, etc.
This sounds promising, but it's also pretty vague, huh? Finding some sort of program tells me that there is no blueprint yet, and this is after how many years? The fact that in 2025 we're still talking about starting a system to track players from grassroots level shows how far behind we are in terms of how we're developing talent in the region. We should have already had a centralized database, video footage, performance metrics, and on every player in the system in the region as performing from under 13 upwards. So this is what Miles Bascom concludes on his response to my question today.
So that we have an understanding of what that catchment is like, what the pool of players that we are going to draw from will eventually be like, and I expect that would help in terms of developing systems around that to ensure that we can streamline the movement of players through our pathways.
All right, so what we heard from Cricket West Indies is basically this. They've identified some of the problems. They have an understanding of how it breaks down in terms of what they need to do. But unless they start doing something now, it's all talk. And that's what we've been hearing from Cricket West Indies for forever, really. This is the longest that the West Indies have been in the doldrums. 30 years, 1995 until now is 30 years. We need to start implementing things and start talking about it. We have a tendency in the Caribbean to talk a lot about how we plan to fix things, but never enough action about how we fix them. Cricket West Indies has identified the problem, which is a start, yes. But when are we going to start to see the implementation of these things, which will then eventually yield better results? Until then, West Indies are going to continue to lose, and people are going to be frustrated, and the fan base is going to be eroded even more. So the West Indies need to act now, and act with a certain sense of understanding that there are goals to be met, short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. And that's the only way the West Indies are going to get out of the rut that they're currently in. Until next time. But before we say that, not the next time, we're going to be giving you a post-reaction to the track meet tomorrow, where several Jamaican athletes and Caribbean athletes will be competing in Europe at the Guliev meet. But until next time, this is Levy saying goodbye, and I promise you we'll be bringing more than just cricket to you in the videos to come. We have some basketball things lined up, I can tell you, and of course we have track and field. So stay tuned. Continue to like, subscribe, and share our content. And of course, bye bye.